Welcome to Let's Talk Bowling with Andrew Frawley. Today we're talking about bowling for strikes. Before we join the coach for today's session, let's review what we covered in our last program. By now you should be feeling quite confident about using the four-step approach. You'll recall the four-step approach has four parts: start position, push, swing and roll. To find your start position, start at the centre of the foul line, walk back 4 paces and then add a half step for the slide. When you turn, position your feet in line with the board that has the centre dot. For example, right-handed bowlers line up their left foot on this board. You hold the ball about waist high in both hands, slightly to the right with a little more weight on your left foot. Now you're ready for the push. Your right foot and arm move out together. As you walk forward, your arm extends and the ball swings down and back naturally. The arm and the foot come through together and the ball is released round about the ankle and rolls down the lane. Follow through at the foul line and stay nicely balanced. Do you remember any other tips the coach gave us about delivering the ball? Here's a couple to think about today.
And we want to make sure our shoulders are square to the foul line. We're going to keep our shoulders square throughout the whole of the approach. Okay, and the next thing is we want to keep that ball, the hand underneath the ball, that's it. But when we're first starting off, we want to learn how to deliver the ball straight up the lane. So when we let go of the ball, we want to have the palm of the hand up towards the ceiling, and that's going to make sure when we finish up, we're going to have our thumb pointing towards the pins. And as we're delivering the ball, we want to keep the wrist as firm as we can through the ball so we don't flop our wrist out when we let go of it. Keep your wrist nice and firm through the shot.
In training, we sometimes talk about the pins by numbers. In bowling, the 10 pins are numbered from front to back and from left to right. So, this is pin 1, often referred to as the head pin. Then we have 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then 7, 8, 9 and 10. All right, let's join the coach and talk about the best way to bowl a strike.
All right, what is a strike pocket and what's the best way to strike? Well, I can tell you hitting very straight on the front pin is a big chance you're going to leave as what we call a split. That's pins on either side of the deck, very hard to get a spare out of. The best way to strike is to hit the right side of the head pin if you're a right-handed bowler, or a left-handed bowler, just hit on the left side of the head pin. That's our best way to get the best mix, best chance of striking.
So, if you're a right-handed bowler, your strike target or strike pocket is just to the right of the head pin, this 1-3 pocket. Left-handed bowlers are targeting the left side of the head pin or the 1-2 pocket. When most people start bowling, they just aim for the pins, but those are 18 metres away. Wouldn't it be great if you had something closer to aim at? Well, you do. Every lane has a special built-in targeting device to help you knock over more pins. Just over 4 metres down your lane, you'll see a series of arrows, and these give you a closer aiming point. As the coach explains.
The arrows line up with the dots that have been placed on the approach. So we have arrows at every 5 boards, and the middle arrow lines up with the middle dot, so we can use the middle arrow and the middle dot to work out where we want to stand. We've been talking about lining up on the middle dot to bowl the ball down the lane to try and get a strike. So what we would want to do is place the ball as we bowl it through the second and third arrow from the right. So we can think about the ball rolling past the second, third arrow, down the lane, and that should hit the strike pocket. Okay, now we've talked about starting on the middle dot, and then we've spoken about rolling the ball between the second and third arrow to line up with our strike pocket. Now, what I'm going to show you is, if I stand on the middle dot at the foul line, the shoulder automatically lines up between the second and third arrow. We bowl the ball straight, we can bowl the ball straight up the lane, and hopefully hit the right side of the head pin. Let's see if it works. I'm standing on top of the middle arrow, and you can see then my shoulder automatically lines up between the second and third arrow. Take aim, and remember during your approach we're aiming at the arrows, not looking at the pins. Well, we nearly got there, but you can see the ball hitting the right side of the head pin between the second and third arrow. That gives our best chance for a strike.
Today, we want to practice aiming to roll between the second and third arrows to hit the right-hand side of the head pin. As you practice today, watch closely to see which arrow your ball travels over, and then watch where it hits. Try rolling a shot over the second arrow, and then the third arrow, and then between the second and third arrow, and see what difference this makes. This way, you will find the spot in relation to the arrow that works best for you. As you become more confident working with the arrows, aiming for strikes will become a lot easier.
All right, we're going to do some practice on targeting. Ashley's lined up his left foot over the middle dot. He's got his eyes focused between the second and third arrow, and we're looking to hit the right side of the head pin. Let's see where Ashley rolls this shot. All right, Ashley, whereabouts will we roll that ball?
That was about the third arrow.
That's right, yeah, just a little bit to the left of the third arrow. That's why the ball went over to the other side of their head pin. We still hit the head pin, that's not bad. So all round, a pretty good shot. What we want to do now is practice aiming our targets and watching the ball roll between the second and third arrow. And just keep practicing, head down, good balance at the line, and see the ball going between the second and third arrow.
We'll leave you to get some practice.
Good roll.
In our next session, we'll talk about spare shooting. That's in the next episode of Let's Talk Bowling. See you then.